In 2006, the scholars Claudine Michel and Patrick Bellegarde-Smith gathered the leading voices in Vodou studies into a single volume. Published under the Congress of Santa Barbara, KOSANBA, its title named its purpose, Invisible Powers. For 5 centuries, the West demonized the religion of enslaved Africans to justify their bondage. This book answers that long slander. Across 12 essays, it shows Haitian Vodou not as black magic, but as a coherent worldview, a way of life, and a mode of survival, in which the invisible spirits, les invisibles, are made visible through the bodies of those who serve them. The editors begin with a simple image. Invisible powers can be made visible, they write, by action, by acts of humans on the great stage of life. During the sévice, the ceremony, women and men called sévillettes embody the divine loi, and for a moment, the visible and invisible interact with startling intimacy. But there is a second way to make these powers visible, through honest research. As slaves were denied their full humanity, the editors argue, Haiti is denied its sovereignty. This book reclaims both. Vodou, it insists, is the ideological superstructure of the Haitian nation, an integrated worldview touching family, economics, healing, music, and politics, and the secret engine of Haiti's survival. For 500 years, the religions of Africa were dismissed as superstition. To understand Vodou, we must first clear away the slander and ask what it truly means to serve the spirits. For most of the past centuries, the editors write, Western civilization deliberately demonized peoples of African descent as an easy justification for their enslavement. Africans were considered less than human, their features called ugly, their cultures denigrated, their religions declared non-existent, a compendium of noxious superstitions. As the West claimed logic, science, and true religion for itself, African faiths were dismissed as polytheism, primitivism, paganism, and animism. This prejudice, they note, is still common currency. Voodoo economics and voodoo politics turn black magic into a weapon of insult, defining a sinister other against American goodness. Hollywood and the missionary alike perpetuate the stereotype, and the same white man's burden that once justified slavery is now used to justify the military occupation of Haiti itself. Vodouists rarely use the word Vodou at all. They say simply, Mwen Sevillois, I serve the spirits. The word itself comes from the West African Fon language and means, plainly, spirit. The Lois are intermediaries between the distant supreme god, Bondye, and human beings, and each Loi, Claudine Michel explains, is the archetype of a moral principle. Vodou has no sacred book, no central authority, no Eden, and no heaven. It is, she insists, a democratic and functional religion, not a system imposed from above. Its goal is not salvation in another world, but survival in this one. There is, she writes, a complete unity of religion and life. In Vodou, every dance, every song is a prayer, and every word and every act becomes a lesson. With no scripture, Vodou transmits its values through performance. Justice, forbearance, forgiveness, respect for the elders, all are carried in songs, proverbs, and dance in a country where 80% of people cannot read. More than 100 different African ethnic groups, thrown together in slavery, were united only by a religion they recreated on Caribbean soil. The scholar Robert Ferris Thompson called it Vodun, Africa reblended. Its philosophy is communal to the root. Where the West says, I think, therefore I am, Vodou answers, we are, therefore I am. Everything in the world, plant, animal, mineral, shares a single essence, a vaunted African humanism. As one old prayer warns, if it were not for the good guinea spirits, we would all have perished already. The spirits arrive in families and in two great temperaments. The Rada Lwa are the old, sweet, ancestral spirits brought from Africa, cool and dependable. The Petwol Lwa are hot, forged in the fire of slavery itself, summoned by whip cracks and police whistles, the spiritual incarnation, one scholar writes, of the plantation owners. Among them all walk the great names: Legba, the old man who opens the gate at the crossroads; Danbala, the ancient venerable serpent; Ezili, spirit of love and of tears; Ogu, the warrior and the blacksmith; Azaka, the hard-working peasant; and the Gede, the irreverent, laughing spirits of the dead, led by Baron, lord of the cemetery. To serve them is not to worship idols, but to live within a vast, invisible family. Karen McCarthy Brown, author of the modern classic Mama Lola, presents Haiti as a case study in Afro-Caribbean spirituality, where to heal a person is to mend the invisible web that holds the living, the dead, and the spirits together. In Afro-Caribbean religion, Karen McCarthy Brown writes, spirituality and healing are very nearly the same word. Haitians serve the spirits to manage chance, luck, or life chances, and to minimize misère, the suffering of a desperately poor world. People, a proverb says, are born to die. The question is how to live well in between. Healing here is not a private cure, but a readjustment of relationships, a constant exchange of gifts among the living, the dead, and the law. The self, too, is plural and relational. Morality is not a rule book, but a matter of serving your own particular spirits faithfully. Brown calls Vodou a repository for wisdom accumulated by a people who have lived through slavery, hunger, disease, repression, corruption, and violence, all in excess. A person in Vodou is not one soul, but several. There is the Nam, the animating force that fades soon after death; the Gwo Bonange, the big guardian angel that holds your consciousness and personality; the Ti Bonange, the little guardian angel, a kind of spiritual reserve tank; and the Zet Wal, your star in the sky, your fate. The dead do not simply vanish. A year and a day after a death, the family performs Relay Mo Nandlo, calling the dead up from the water, retrieving the spirit from Guinéen, the watery African homeland below the earth, and housing it in a clay pot. The retrieved dead often complain of the cold and the damp. In time, the honored dead may themselves be promoted and begin to act as Lua. To become a priest, a Monbo or an Ungan, is to take the Asson, a small hollow gourd sheathed in a mesh of glass beads and snake vertebrae, the emblem and instrument of the priesthood, used to summon and to dismiss the spirits. Initiation is a ritual death and rebirth. The candidate is secluded, blindfolded, the head covered for many days. The verb for it, coucher, means at once to lie down, to sleep, to make love, to give birth, and to die. In the trial of Kanzo, the initiate handles ritual fire and emerges transformed. Now you are quit, the elders say, cooked. No one can eat you. And never again, they warn, say that you are hot, only that you are strong. Karen McCarthy Brown watches the religion work. In Carrefour, an Ongan named Césaire is mounted by the warrior Ogu, who furiously scolds his own horse for having driven away Simone, the lead singer, forcing a reconciliation and a procession of peace beneath sequined banners. Elsewhere, a girl will not eat and is losing her hair. A reading of the cards, 4 rows of 8, uncovers the truth that her stepfather has been abusing her. A wronged woman drops a pwen, a charm, into a latrine, and the men who cheated her sicken and die. Justice, the Manbo says, because the house was hers. This is what Brown calls a science of the concrete, a practical theology of baths and herbs, charms and ceremonies, working directly on the troubles of a hard life. A crucifix stands on every voodoo altar, but Leslie Desmangles shows that voodooists do not read it through Christianity at all. They read it through the ancient cosmology of Dahomey as a map of the universe and the crossroads of destiny. The cross, Leslie Desmangles writes, is the most important symbol in Vodou, but its meaning is African. It represents the crossroads of human destiny, presided over by Legba, the spirit who opens the gate between the world of the living and the world of the Loi. The vertical line is the axis mundi, the pole connecting Earth to the realm of the spirits. The horizontal line marks the 4 cardinal points of the world. When Catholic missionaries planted their crucifix, they did not convert this symbol, they merely reinforced one already there. Vodou, Desmangles argues, is a religion of correspondences in which African meaning quietly dominates the Christian form. The same cross hangs in the church and stands in the Hoonfort, but the Vodouist sees Dahomey, not Calvary. Every ceremony begins with Legba, whom Desmangles calls the Hermes of the Voodoo Olympus, the messenger who must open the way before any other spirit can come. The priest summons him by tracing a veve on the ground in flour or cornmeal, an intricate Kabbalistic design particular to each Loi. Atibon Legba runs the invocation, "Open the gates so that I might enter." The design is impossibly fragile. The slightest breeze can blow it away. Yet the voodooist believes that every grain of flour that falls raps upon the sacred portals of the spirits. Through that opened gate flows a connection to Ville-au-Camp, the mythic city of the Loi, an island said to lie below the sea, in Dahomey, the legendary place of African origin and return. Dahomeyan myth imagines the universe as 2 halves of a calabash, welded shut and floating on water, which is why, Desmangles notes, to dig anywhere is eventually to find water. The creator, Mawu, traveled to the 4 quarters of space across 4 days, fashioning 4 lands, of which Dahomey was called to a noble destiny. The world of the spirits is a mirror of our own, but reversed. There, left is right, and time runs backward toward the creator, Bondye. So the priest performs every sacred act by doing and undoing, drawing the veve left to right, and then right to left, moving counterclockwise, even entering the spirit world backward through time. A possessed devotee may offer both hands at once, the right belonging to the world of men, the left to the world of the gods. This African faith survived in secret and against the law. In 1685, Louis XIV's Code Noir ordered every master to baptize his slaves into the Catholic religion within 8 days, and made the drum, the dance, and all African worship crimes punishable by torture or death. Dahomey was emptied to feed the colony. A single report counts 10,000 to 12,000 people exported in a year, the French shipping 6,000 to 8,000 annually into Saint-Domingue alone. Forbidden to worship openly, the enslaved drove their religion into the night, and it took on the nocturnal character it has never lost. A prêtre savant, a bush priest, would mutter the Catholic prayers at the edge of the ceremony, a thin Christian veil over an African rite that continued, undefeated, in the dark. If Vodou survived the plantation, it also destroyed it. Gerdys Florent and Patrick Bellegarde-Smith trace how the religion of the enslaved became the engine of the only successful slave revolution in history and the soul of a nation's music. On the night of August 14, 1791, in a forest clearing called Bwa Kayiman, Bwa Kayiman, enslaved Africans gathered in a politico-religious congress that would change the world. A priest, Boukman Doti, and a priestess presided. A black pig was sacrificed, and an oath was sworn in blood. There, Gerdes Florent writes, the rebels intoned their first revolutionary hymns and danced their first liberative spirits, Legba, Danbala, Ezili, Ogu, Sembi. Days later, the northern plain was in flames. The revolution they lit would burn for 13 years and end 1804 with the birth of Haiti, the first Black republic and the second independent nation in the Americas. Bishop and senator alike would later confess the truth. The Vodou priests, the Boko, were the very soul of the insurrection. Deprived of political power, Patrick Bellegarde-Smith argues, the Haitian masses built their nation out of two African inventions, the Creole language and the Vodou religion. Together, these form the ideological superstructure of Haiti, the Potomitan, the center posts of its culture. Creole is no broken French, but a true language rooted in the West African Kwa tongues, a counter-language rich in irony, able to voyer point, to strike an enemy sidelong. Vodou, he writes, is less a religion than a spiritual discipline, amalgamating Fon, Iwe, Yoruba, and Congo. His famous formula captures the country exactly. Haiti is 80% Catholic, but 100% Vodou. Real democracy here, he concludes, will not be imported from a beneficent West. It will be an Africanizing process, the state at last reflecting the nation. After the American occupation seized Haiti from 1915 to 1934, an answer rose from its writers. Jean-Priest Mars urged his countrymen to stop despising the folklore of the peasant and to see Vodou as a genuine religion. Out of his work, Aimé Césaire would say negritude was born in Haiti. The novelist Jacques Roumain wrote Masters of the Dew, translated into English by Langston Hughes. Gerdes Florent calls Vodou a comprehensive system for the organization of the cumulative wisdom of humankind, and its songs an instrument of conscientization, of consciousness raising. Through them, he argues, a largely illiterate people became among the most politicized in the world. When the dictator Élie Lescaut banned Vodou, Carnival, and Rara in 1942, the musicians of Jazz des Jeunes answered him directly, defiantly setting the rhythms of the temple onto the public stage. In the 1980s, a new generation carried the temple's drums into rock and roll. They called it musique racine, roots music, bands that returned to the sacred Rara and Patois rhythms preserved in the rural Laku, the old family compounds of the Artibonite Valley. The most famous took its name from the priest of 1791, Bouquemont Expérience, whose song Nous pas s'oublier, We Will Not Forget, was dedicated to the ancestral Laku of Souvenance. Boucan Guinen sang of the flame of Africa. Ram, led by Richard Morse, set a Vodou song called Ibo Lele into the Hollywood film Philadelphia and turned another, Embargo, into a coded protest under military rule. To study these rhythms, young musicians risked the Tonto Makut, defying a dictatorship to learn the drumming of their grandparents. The Ark reached the National Palace. When Jean-Bertrand Aristide was inaugurated president in February 1991, Bellegarde-Smith notes, he took the oath of office not in French, but in Creole, the people's tongue, and received the presidential sash from the hands of a mambo, a voodoo priestess. Later, he would fling open the doors of the presidential mansion to feed beggars with his own hands. For 2 centuries, the westernized elite had treated voodoo as an embarrassment to hide from foreign eyes, even as one president after another secretly consulted the Ungan. Aristide's gestures declared the long concealment over. Roman Catholicism had been the state's official religion until 1987. Now the religion of the masses, so long driven into the night, was being welcomed at last into the daylight of the Republic. Beyond the ceremony lies a world of objects and stories. The dazzling sequined flags that announce the spirits, and the strange figure of the Jew, conjured by the Haitian imagination at Easter out of the darkest inheritance of Europe. When the spirits are called, 2 sequined flags lead them in, twirled off the shoulders of the flag corps as a sword-bearer clears the way. Anna Wexler studies these drapeaux vaudou, glittering banners that mark sacred space and signal each loi. Their origins, she finds, are gloriously tangled. Congo spirit cloth, Dahomean swords, French military colors, all braided together. The flag maker Clotaire Basile told her a Vodou origin story. In the beginning, all the spirits lived with the Great Mother, Asson, until Papa Sobo took a piece of wood, fixed cloth upon it, and made the very first flags, one white, one red, for peace and for victory. An unbaptized flag, the makers say, Pug en Nam, has no soul. Consecrated in the temple, even faded, torn, and bloodstained, it carries real force. One flag story stands above the rest. In 1803, the Revolutionary General Sen Jak Dessalines seized the French tricolor and, in some tellings, possessed by the warrior spirit Ogu, tore the white band from its center, leaving only the blue and the red, the colors of Haiti. His goddaughter, Catherine Flan, is remembered for stitching the new banner together. To this day, Haitians debate where it happened, under a sacred tree at one town or another, but the meaning is fixed. The nation's flag was born in a gesture of Vodou. The physician Arthur Holly, writing in 1928, devoted an entire mystical treatise, Drapeau, to the occult value of the Haitian flag. In Vodou, the banner is never merely cloth. It is the spirit made present, the invisible rendered visible at the threshold. Elizabeth McAllister uncovers a darker inheritance. Each year on Good Friday, in towns across Haiti, people build a straw effigy they call the Jew, and at 3 o'clock they burn it. The custom is medieval Europe's, carried across the Atlantic. The Catholic Church's ancient demonization of the Jew became, McAllister argues, a mythological blueprint, a template of the evil other, later stamped onto native peoples and onto enslaved Africans themselves. In a cruel irony, the same Catholic Haiti that burns the Jew casts its own Vodou practitioners as symbolic Jews, the despised servants of Satan. One Holy Thursday in 1993, she watched a straw Jew perched on a rooftop, dressed in a suit and tie, a pen in his pocket, and a cardboard laptop on his lap. The eternal scapegoat updated for the modern age. But the despised, McAllister shows, seize the insult and remake it. The Lenten street festivals called Rara, processions of drums and bamboo horns belonging to the poorest Haitians, embrace the very figure used against them. It was the Jews, the Rara people say, who made the first Rara, rejoicing, singing, and dancing, claiming the scapegoat as a mystical forefather. To go in the Rara, they say, is itself to become a Jew. The reversal runs deep into the theology. In one extraordinary folk story, Jesus himself becomes the first zombie, raised from the dead when 2 Haitian soldiers steal and sell the secret password of his resurrection. The other, McAllister insists, always has agency. Even the figure invented to damn the poor is turned, in their hands, into a banner of defiant belonging. Vodou was never one thing. LaGrace Benson, Richard Brent Turner, and Pierre Min reveal its hidden threads: a forgotten strand of African Islam, a sister religion in New Orleans, and the daily struggle of the body against heat, drought, and want. LaGrace Benson gives the volume its most beautiful image. A Hungan, she writes, is like an astronomer using the light from distant stars, drawing on knowledge whose sources lie far away in space and time. Vodou, she argues, was braided on the slave ships from many strands of light, and one strand has been almost forgotten: African Islam. Thousands of enslaved Muslims crossed the Atlantic, hiding their Qurans, some reciting the holy book from memory, because an error would be an error against Allah. Their legacy survives in graphic signs, the protective magic squares the Muslims called Hadumere, the mystic seals of Solomon, woven now into Vodou's veve and its flags. On the banner of the sea spirit Agwe, painted above his ship, one can still read a single Arabic-rooted word, Imamu. Benson follows other strands of the braid as well. From the Catholic sailors of Brittany, many of whom became the priests of colonial Haiti, came the model votive ships that still hang near the Potomitan, and the heart pierced with a sword, the Breton image of the Sacred Heart, now the emblem of the love spirit Azili. From a Breton legend of Ahès, a drowned princess of the sunken city of Is, came something of La Sirène, the Vodou mermaid who leads the dead home to Guinéen beneath the sea. The painter Préfet Dufaux, who learned his art at a Breton mission in Jacmel, painted virgins who are also Azili. The New World Hungans, Benson concludes, were cosmopolitans, master weavers gathering light from Africa, Arabia, and Europe alike into a single shining cloth. The same religion took root on American soil. Richard Brent Turner follows the writer Zora Neale Hurston, who came to New Orleans in 1928 to study what she called hoodoo and declared the city now and forever the Hoodoo Capital of America. Belief in magic, she wrote, is older than writing. There, she traced the legend of Marie Laveau, the 19th century Vodou queen, a free woman of color married in St. Louis Cathedral who reigned over the city's Vodou for 2 decades. Laveau nursed the victims of yellow fever and comforted condemned prisoners, and in the people's memory, she could not die. Every St. John's Eve, they said, she rose from Lake Pontchartrain with a burning candle blazing on her head, walking upon the water. Some 12,000 Haitian refugees had carried their spirits to Louisiana. Hurston did not merely watch, she submitted. Under 9 Vodou doctors, she underwent 6 initiations, becoming, Turner argues, not participant observer, but an initiate observer, an actual adept 70 years ahead of her time. In one rite, she lay naked and face down for 3 days, her navel to a serpent, a painted lightning bolt running down her spine, while, as she wrote, her soul stood naked before Spirit to see if he would have her. Behind such rituals lay connaissance, the deep esoteric knowledge of ordinary Black folk carried in an unbroken current between Haiti and Louisiana. Its public memory was Congo Square, where on Sundays the enslaved had once gathered to drum the bambula and the kalinda, keeping alive, in the heart of an American city, the rhythms and the spirits of Africa. Pierre Min brings the volume down to the suffering body. In a poor coastal town he calls Bellons, he studies an illness people name Chalet, heat, a sickness, they say, of too much sun and too much labor in a land stripped bare. Does heat make people sick? He asks a man. Yes, comes the answer, with a shrug. There's no water. It makes you feel, says another, as if your eyes are burning, as if they will fall out of your head onto the floor. Sufferers eat cooling foods and douse their heads. One woman ties a banana peel to her brow to pull the heat out as it dries. By 1988, Min notes, barely 2% of Haiti held tree cover. The topsoil is in the sea. Haiti will only begin healing, he writes, when it has water enough to refresh both its land and its people. The volume closes with the imagination at its fullest, Vodou as it lives in Haitian literature, and the astonishing figure of Saint James the Greater, the warrior saint that Vodouists have always known is really the African god Ogu. Carol Coates surveys a century of Haitian fiction to rescue Vodou from the slander of mere witchcraft. Serious novelists, he shows, treat it as a global vision of the world. Jacques Roumain's Masters of the Dew made the peasant and his faith the heart of the nation. Jacques-Stephen Alexis in The Musician Trees staged a great council of Ungan defending their gods against an anti-superstition campaign, his old priest Bwa crying out that the Lois still live, look at the light shining in the ashes. Franck Etienne wrote the first novel entirely in Creole, peopled by zombies who wake the instant they taste salt. René Depeste sang the water spirit Danbala in verse. Again and again, Coates finds, the writers turn to Vodou as the soul of the people, its true faith and only resource.
Donald Cosentino ends the book with a paradox. Across Haiti, pilgrims pour out their devotion to Sen Jak, Saint James the Greater, the Spanish warrior saint on his white horse. They call him Sen Jak, Cosentino writes, but they mean Ogu. For them, Ogu is not a saint. He is a divinity, the African god of iron and war, wearing a borrowed Catholic face. Each July, the faithful gather at Plaine du Nord, where the first slave revolt began in 1791, around a muddy pond they call the true Sen Jak, Ogu's own emergence point on earth. A bull is set like a living altar, candles burning on its horns. Then the pilgrims plunge face down into the sacred mud and rise like primal creatures, anointed in blood, crying out, Sen Jak, here I am, it's all for you.
Cosentino watches the image itself work like a god. The cheap chromolithograph of Santiago, sword raised over trampled moors, has become, he argues, the single most important source for the whole theology of Ogu, more sacred almost than the spirit it depicts. And through that warrior face, the nation reads its own history. Dessalines claimed Ogu as the master of his head. François Duvalier swapped the cathedral's gentle saint for a fierce blue and red one in his own image. When Jean-Bertrand Aristide rose, his people took as his emblem the coq qualité, the fighting cock sacred to Ogu. A flag maker stitched Aristide's own face where the saints had been, and an Ungan set his portrait on a petro altar beside Azili Danto. Ogu, Cosentino writes, was at last home. In Vodou, Cosentino writes, there is no was. In Haitian history, nothing is ever truly past. The slave ship and the revolution, Dahomey and Brooklyn, the burned Jew and the risen Christ, the African god and the borrowed saint, all of it lives at once, present and active in the ceremony tonight. This is the deepest argument of invisible powers. The religion the West dismissed as superstition is in truth a complete philosophy, a system of healing, an art, a history, and the secret architecture of a nation that freed itself. To serve the spirits is to make the invisible visible, to insist that the ancestors are not gone, that suffering is not the sea.
For 5 centuries, the world tried to make this religion invisible. Claudine Michel, Patrick Bellegarde-Smith, and their fellow scholars have made it visible again, not as a curiosity, but as one of the great spiritual achievements of the African diaspora. As slaves were once denied their humanity, the editors wrote, Haiti is still denied its sovereignty. To honor voodoo is to begin reversing that long injustice. Invisible powers, they remind us, can be made visible by action on the great stage of life and by the patient work of understanding. The Lois still mount their horses, the drums still call across the night, and the spirits, who crossed an ocean in chains and were never once forgotten, remain.